We've just come to the end of a wonderful 3-day Symposium, Ireland-Canada event that emerged from a meeting and some collaborations we've been having with 4 universities in Ontario. And the whole purpose of the event is, like us, they're looking at closer ties and closer collaborations between themselves. So this was an opportunity for us, not only to celebrate what we do, but also to welcome them to Ireland and to ask them to provide us with input and some examples of what they've been doing and how it might relate to the current endeavours we're involved with.
The Irish-Canada relationship is a very strong relationship. This is something that started out with a couple of individuals meeting, and it turned into a signing of a memorandum of understanding, and here we are today with a major conference.
UIT being the main partner, University of Ontario Institute of Technology, OCADU, the Ontario College of Art and Design University, Trent University and Durham College, and put together with staff from the Institute of Technology in Blanchardstown, the Institute of Technology in Tallaght and the Dublin Institute of Technology.
We're here to talk to our academic partners in a significant way about collaborations, about student exchanges, and about how we can share good practices in terms of the transformation of our programs and the evolution of our institutions.
And so we're very interested in looking at how, on both a curricular level and in terms of research, we can work together, develop some agreements for exchanges between students and faculty, potentially even conjoined curriculum.
So we had themes on engagement, on entrepreneurship, on the digital campus, on reimagining our curriculum. Over 150 registered for the event, could choose from across 3 streams each day. We had 47 presentations, so really they could have their own personalised itinerary. They were able to identify those practitioners they specifically were interested in. And of course, in the midst of that then, we had 2 fabulous keynote speakers, Professor Tom Collins and also Dr. Terence McTaggart.
You know, I think it's the start of a relationship for a lot of the people here. I've already met 3 or 4 really interesting people that I want to follow up with, and discussions that happen in between the sessions are really as much a part of the learning. And so there's the intellectual piece, but there's also the getting to know people, and that's a big part of the outcome. So starting that relationship here is really important.
One theme is around changes in course and program design and delivery. More online, more small group work, less the traditional chalk and talk classroom type course delivery, more experiential learning for students where they come in and out of the institution, have placements in business, have placements in the public sector, and makes them much more familiar with the world of work.
We are obviously in a very busy space, in a very competitive space. We hope we have a distinctive vision on what that impact is, and resulting in outputs and outcomes that make a real difference to people's lives.
In today's environment, should we be concerned with developing knowledge? Should we be concerned with developing wealth? Should we be an arm of government policy? And what's the right balance between all of that? And all the papers today are on various elements of that, and particularly curriculum in a digital world where the internet's ubiquitous. How do we actually frame all of this?
The talks have been very interesting, and it's also nice to listen to perspectives of lecturers from other colleges and other countries. They all have the same issues as we have, so it's been very productive for my research.
It's bringing together people from all across the academic disciplines and the technological areas that our institutions cover. It's an opportunity for some synergy, for us both to learn from one another, and for growth and change in direction as a consequence of that kind of collaboration.
It's interesting to come to an event like this to see how educators in Ireland and in Canada have the same issues, the same problems, the same experiences, and it's really energising to be able to come here and share those experiences and look at the different solutions that people have put in place for common issues.
It's important to meet other people and to get different perspectives on things. We can get very much bogged down in our day-to-day work. It's very important to take a little bit of time out, meet other people, and you do come away with little gems, little nuggets of inspiration.
Dublin Castle, an absolutely fabulous space where you can't, but inside and outside you're just filled with awe and wonder.
There's a great balance for Canadians here in the sense that in some ways the Irish system is similar enough to our own system and feels the same. We can learn from that, but at the same time it's different enough that you've got different experiences.
It's been a real critical discourse of pedagogy and assessment in higher education, and it's really challenged my own viewpoints in terms of my own thinking and my own practice. So it's been really insightful in that regard.
Ultimately, as professional educators, I think we're in the business of trying to inspire students. Education is not about trying to pour someone into somebody's head. It's really about trying to light a fire and enthuse them about finding out things and even knowing more than anyone else knows.
Anytime you come to a conference where you have all of the people together under one roof, thinking about big new ideas and we're blue skying things, a lot of good contact can be made. If I'm enthusiastic about something, it's on the basis of are the ideas that are coming out of the conference good, and I like what I'm hearing and seeing so far.
There's a record of input from not just an Irish point of view, but from a Canadian point of view, and we've seen there are some differences, but there's a lot of similarities as well, and we're building up links.
Some fantastic talks this morning, some international perspectives on previous projects where they've looked to merge universities, where they've looked to bring disparate organisations together, and really we got some great learning from that, some great tips and good points that we'll be taking on board for the next while.
So what is it doing to our curriculum and the outcomes of our curriculum, and matching that curriculum to the demands of society, demands of labour and demands of business and everything else. So these symposiums, these conferences help us learn and to expand and go back with some really good ideas.
I'm going to go away from this with all sorts of ideas, both about how to have partnerships with institutions in Ireland, not just the institutions here, but other institutions as well, with all sorts of ideas about how we might transform our universities to make them better places for students, for the public, for society.
I think the role of higher education is to enable everyone to fulfil their full potential, to be active citizens, just discover and do things that we don't even know about today, and really build a different kind of future.
There is a momentum now to what we're doing, and the level of dialogue that's taking place between the three institutions alone is at a meaningful level, because we're talking about real things rather than hypothetical things.
A lot of thoughts about what we might do to follow up with this conference with something we might do in Ontario, something would invite Irish scholars to come and to discuss the issues we're struggling with, to learn from what's happened here in the coming year, and to grow together once again.
Coming away from this conference, I have a set of email addresses, but behind each of those email addresses I have a face and a conversation. So I'd be much more inclined to enter into a collaboration. We've had that history and that engagement.
How can we collaborate? We have so much in common. The Ontario system is going through massive changes at the government level and at the institutional level. And of course, we're watching with great interest the merger of the institutes and the universities in Dublin. So we have a lot to share, best practices, and we can learn from each other.
So I really think that we have something here today in this transformation, and it's you that have the power, I think, to go out and to encourage people and to include people in that transformation. And I really look forward to a very exciting future in higher education, be that in Canada, be that in Ireland, be that elsewhere in the world.
We're all in transition as institutions. We're all dealing with different expectations of government, and we're operating in a digital age where knowledge knows no boundaries. So there's a little bit of a hand-holding and a sharing of how we're dealing with the changes and how we're managing and how we're identifying opportunities that are good for students, good for research and development and sustainability of our institutions.
Very happy that we were able to collectively put on a 3-day event that allowed us to celebrate what's best in the Dublin Institute of Technology, in the Institute of Technology in Tallaght, and in my own institute, the Institute of Technology in Blanchardstown. It's something we don't do enough of. We don't engage in a cailura of our practice, a celebration of our practice often enough. And here we were with international experts from Canada who were wowed by what we do in the same way we were so impressed with what we do. And I think happy is certainly an understatement for how this event went.